Hi, and thanks for tuning in to our live radio show. Moments of Clarity with Tiffany will begin in just a few moments. Please stay tuned. Kindly take this opportunity to share this show on your platforms because change can only come when we stand together as one, especially when it comes to ending the stigma on mental health.
You are not alone, and help is out there.
Kids have mental health issues, and we also need to learn coping skills.
Let's get started and let the show begin. See you soon.
Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, your soul will align. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And I have a very exciting guest today that is going to talk about not only what to do if you are a podcaster or if you would like to become one, but I'm also a member of her foundation. She's the executive director of the Podcast Academy. And helping so many other people really get out there and interact, find out other podcasters out there and radio shows, but and let them interact, intermingle, and everything. And I'm going to informally introduce you right now, Michele Cobb. But we've got Ed here, and we have to wait for a radio cue. We should be right now. Hold on a second. If Ed would unmute and we'll start the radio show. Thank you so much for being here, Michele.
You're welcome. Excited to be.
Great show. Did you like the little intro?
I did.
It's fun, like being able to have like that. Okay, so Ed, make sure you're unmuted for me, and we'll begin the radio show.
Cool.
It's fun. Let's get some love out there. We got Adam. Hey there, Tiffany. It's Adam here from a very cold UK.
Well, I'm in Rhode Island. It's cold here too. I've got a blanket on my legs to stay warm.
Lots of love from India, from Jason. You know Jason.
I do.
Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hello, and thanks for tuning in. This is Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we're going to be talking about maintaining balance when your life is full of multiple jobs or gigs or anything like that, and how to balance everything in your life. But also, if you are a podcaster or somebody that is interested in doing podcasts, this all applies. Before I formally introduce my guest, I would like to say hi to Ed in the studio. Hi, Ed.
Hey, happy Thursday to everybody.
Happy Thursday. So, Ed, this is Michele, and she does so much by hosting things for the Podcast Academy radio show people like us and things like that. Hey, Ed, I got to tell you something. New Year's Eve will mark my 600th episode.
Wow.
600. We got to make a big deal out of that.
Okay.
Figure that out. December 31st. I hope you were planning to come in just for the morning. But December 31st. It's New Year's Eve, but not New Year's Day.
Oh, well, that's Friday. That's Friday, right? Yeah. Well, I'll be here Friday. Yeah.
600th, according to Apple and Google and everything.
Great.
I should have celebrated the 500 mark, but I wasn't really counting then. But
Whizzed by it.
And this is the only episode 600th radio that's actually marked, not the ones I was just doing when, like, for Thanksgiving, when we weren't logged into the radio or wasn't on the RSS feed or anything like that.
Right.
So I'm pretty stoked about that. 7 years, 600 episodes.
Great.
And you've been with me the whole way. Thank you.
Bet.
For most of it, after I gave it to a boot. I had conflicts with the first two Eds. But Ed stuck with me the longest.
You make me sound like you have multiple personalities or something. I'd get rid of the first two Eds. They just wouldn't get along with each other.
No, I mean, like, the engineers, the radio producers, like, you know what I mean? They weren't Ed. Like, Ed was a keeper. But yeah. Anyway, everyone, you're welcome to call in 866-826-1340, 866-826-1340. Please say hi to Ed when you do. So my guest today is the executive director of the Podcast Academy, which I didn't know much about before, and I kind of stumbled upon it, and so glad that I did. And she's also the executive producer of the Stories of Impact podcast. And maintaining so much in her life and finding balance. And we're going to talk about that. Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. Michele Cobb.
Hi, Tiffany. Thanks for having me on Moments of Clarity.
Hey.
I was going for the bell.
It was Moments of Clarity. And then I had to put it with Tiffany because there's a lot of Moments of Clarity things out there. So I wanted it copywritten. So now it's kind of a little bit of both. But anytime you say I had a moment of clarity, when I said that, some people don't listen, but you do. Anyway, it's going to be a great podcast and radio show and some off of YouTube. Hi, Tiffany and Michele. Glad to be here. I'm getting a podcast career going as a guest.
Very cool.
So you're going to learn a lot. Hi, Dale. And congratulations on 600, Miss Werner. Not there yet, but close. Yes. And I know it can't. I'm like, when it adds up, you're like, wow. Yeah. So getting it out there. So Michele, tell us a little bit about yourself and how this all began, like where it all started.
Sure. So I actually come from a different facet of the audio world, from audio publishing. I started my career in audiobooks over 20 years ago, and eventually had an opportunity to start my own business and just kind of do my own thing in audiobooks after the company that I was working for did not exist anymore. So I took a leap of faith and thought, maybe I can go out on my own and start a small consulting company, which I did. And through that, I started working with associations. So I also run the Audio Publishers Association. And probably 5 or 6 years ago now, myself and Joanna, who runs it with me, looked around and said, oh, there's all this great stuff happening in podcasting. We're interested in podcasts. I became a listener. I've started to do some podcasting on my own. And we thought there should really be an organization that is for podcasters, that helps them move the medium forward and brings attention to podcasts as an entertainment and education medium. So we decided to try and start the Podcast Academy. And it's a very funny story because we were talking to people that we knew who had a similar idea. And then one night, we had been contacting, a few people. I was in New York, and I'm at a restaurant, and I see the phone ring, and it's Hernan Lopez, who I had worked on a podcast with at Wondery. And he said, I was at a Christmas party and I heard that you're interested in starting an organization for podcasters. I've had the same idea. And they mentioned your name. I remember you. So, hey, let's talk. So that was like a Wednesday night. By Friday, we had a meeting. This was right before Christmas of 2019. And then we announced on Valentine's Day of 2020 at Podcast Movement Evolutions. And we had our first board meeting on March 4th in person in New York City. Luckily, no one got COVID from that meeting. But that was, not necessarily the best time to launch an organization, but we opened to members in June of 2020. So we're just over a year old now.
Wow. A lot of things happened right around that time creatively. A lot of things bad happened when COVID started too, but all of this virtual stuff that I'm doing right here as well as the radio. I used to be sitting right in front of Ed, behind a piece of glass in the studio for 5 or 6 years, and then went to Facebook Live, and then voila, here is virtual, so I could do it all of the above and reach more people. And I really want to reach more people. Ending the stigma on mental health is big for me.
Yeah.
But it's amazing all the creativity that came about with the pandemic. It's kind of, in my opinion, made everyone push a pause button and say, what can I do now that I'm on lockdown? Like now, force
Well,
things outside the box.
a lot of people got creative and a lot of people listened. I think there was a big fear, both in podcasting and audiobooks, that people would not listen because there was no commute. And what we've learned is we really like this medium. So even when we're doing it at home to relax or taking a walk outside, we're still looking for that time to listen and not be looking at a computer screen.
So true, especially for people like myself. I do private practice and I do a lot of telehealth. My eyes start to get blurry.
Yes.
By the end of the day, where I actually have glasses to protect from the blue screen, but I'm not prescribed prescription glasses yet. but it's the same thing. Eventually you kind of get tired of looking at the screen, but you want to hear something. What is there? It's encouraging. I think that's why Clubhouse is making a killing, because it's audio as well and not people.
Yeah, and it's interactive. I think, one of the things that we've certainly seen through a lot of studies is that people actually talk about using audio to relax. And so that's not an interactive, habit, but it is something where you can really just be powering down in a way and get some mental refreshment.
Absolutely. And I mean, sometimes I listen to old shows of my own just to put myself to sleep.
It's hard for me. I say, like, if I get interested in a podcast story or a book story and I try to listen, it will keep me awake. I do better, trying to fall asleep to bad television that I don't really care about. Good stories keep me.
That's why I have to listen to my own to critique my work, and I already know what's going to happen. So it's like,
there you go.
It's different. If it was someone else's, I would want to see what happens. But so tell us, I mean, I know what the Podcast Academy is. If you guys have questions out there and have a podcast or anything, I encourage you to call in, ask questions, because I've only been a member for a few months now. I think maybe 4 or 5. Made some great connections. I'm speaking on December 7th. I can give that link to that a little bit later too.
Yes.
To just talk about mental health and podcasting as well, and the stress of podcasting and hosting and coming up with creative ideas and wondering if you should keep it going, and financial issues and so forth, and getting the recognition you want as well, or wondering if anyone's listening, stuff like that. So it's a lot of mental health strain, especially when you've got other things going on.
True.
And so I encourage you guys to call in 866-826-1340. It's across the screen as well, 866-826-1340. If you have a podcast, if you have any questions. And for Michele, she hosts events regularly where she kind of breaks us up and we get to meet other podcasters and get some feedback and get to know what they're doing. There's so many out there that you would never know existed, and that we all have different ones. I had met someone and her podcast was all about the DNA in our body and our brain. And it's so completely different than what I'm doing, but there's trauma that affects the brain and the DNA. So it kind of, there's some correlation, but then there's business marketing ones, and then environmental podcasts, and just so many things. It's a plethora of interesting people out there trying to make a difference in the world and doing their best. And however, coming together on these meetings as other podcast hosts and creators really help and really make it amazing to try to see what time it is.
I will say, that's what's great about the Podcast Academy. Our goal is to bring together all walks of life from podcasting. So you who host a show and do a lot in the background, with an executive from Spotify, and someone who's selling advertising on Acast. So there's all these different facets of podcasting, and it's creating community to bring those together. So it's very fun.
People do logos, people that do brands, people that do social media marketing, people that all these things. We have a caller, Dale, waiting. However, we have to take our commercial break. So Dale, stay on the line. We'll be back with you in a second. And we'll be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment. So please stay tuned.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hello, my name is Lucy Lopes, and I'm a real estate agent that supports ending the stigma on mental health with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I am also passionate about helping you buy or sell your home. With times being so difficult, I'm here to help. Contact me at lucylopes.com. That's LUCYLOPES.com. Let me assist you through this pandemic and know that you are not alone.
If you're a show host, gamer, live streamer, podcast host, or radio show host that would like your message to get out and reach up to 30 platforms, then there's an affordable way to do that. It's called Restream. Restream makes it easy to broadcast professional live videos from your browser to multiple social platforms at once. Start your live show with guests, brand it with logos and overlays, and create an interactive experience for your audience. Learn more at Restream.io and mention Moments of Clarity for special offers.
Hi, this is Tiffany Werner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Werner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
Are you looking for a great book? If you like to root for the underdog, Joe Potosi's book is a book for you. A real American odyssey that will grab your attention with its fast-moving narrative. You won't be able to put this masterpiece down. When the Dust Settled by Joe Potosi. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Zulin Press.
This is the Tam Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hello, and we're back, and thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. This is Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werner. I am a licensed mental health counselor and your host. And today I have the executive director of what is called the Podcast Academy. And they also offer recognition to podcasts called the Ambies, which we're going to be getting into. And not only did she come up with this to help all people that want to spread the word out there of what they're passionate about, but show them some recognition and have them interact and network together. And I think it's amazing. And welcome back to Moments of Clarity, Michele Cobb.
Thanks. It's great to be here. It's great to connect with other people who are also working from Zoom boxes and, doing podcasts as well.
Yes. And before the break, we got a caller. We had caller Dale. Hi, Dale. Welcome to Moments of Clarity.
Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Michelle. How's everybody today?
Good. How are you?
Very well, thanks. I'm not sure if this is a relevant question, but I had a question. I'm embarking on a career or like at least, like getting on podcasts as a guest. And I don't know if this is Michelle's field, but I was just wondering if you could give like one or two like tips to like how to be the best guest you can be on the podcast.
Sure. Well, the first thing I would say is I would encourage you to look for things like Podmatch, which actually can help bring guests together and podcasts. But I say being a good guest, a lot of it is, prepping with the host to know what you're going into and listening, both to what the host questions are, to other questions, and really understanding what you're getting into. Being prepared. We're kind of like Boy Scouts, right? We need to be prepared before we come on someone's show.
Right. Well, I am on Podmatch at the moment, so I've gotten like a lot of leads on that. So that's been very successful.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that's working for you.
Dale, how many? I thought you were hosting one as well.
No, well, I'm hosting a TV show on YouTube called Straight, Sane, and Sober. And that's on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. If I could like give myself a little promotion.
Yeah, go ahead. That's what the show's about. Go ahead.
On MH.Warrior TV, and so I'm learning like both being a host and being a guest. But I just feel that that I can. There's always like more stuff I can pick up both about hosting and guesting, and I think that I'm doing well. It's just like sometimes that I am not sure how actually I got my start on Moments of Clarity with Tiffany, and for that I'll always be great.
He did great, Michelle.
Nice.
Dale talks about schizophrenia, and he's very transparent about it and very funny about it. And so I can tell you make a great guest. Do you like hosting? Because some of us like to be hosts, some of us like to be guests more.
I do like hosting. It's a whole it's a whole different perspective because you aren't focusing on yourself. You're focusing on the guest.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I personally like to host better. I feel like I've told my story so many times. And then if it's not a strong host, I end up taking over. Probably because I'm a therapist as well. So I don't know. But I like to do both to help out people that if they've been on my show, and they have a podcast, I would reciprocate. But I prefer to host because I love putting the guest in the highlight, I get to.
Well, I'm going to approach you soon, Tiffany. You're on my list.
I hope that's a good list, Dale.
Thank you, Michelle. And any other, like tips or anything that you want to leave me with, or I just try to be natural, and sometimes I tend to talk too much. So
just keep at it, keep reaching for it. Never stop.
Keep listening to the show, and I'm sure there's going to be more tips coming up. Okay, Dale. Thanks so much for calling in. And
okay, well, have a great day, everybody.
You
Bye.
too. Bye. We have a caller. We have another caller, Joe. Hi, Joe. Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Tiffany and Michelle. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I'd like to say hello to Gail. Gail was gracious enough to have me on his show recently. And I started a podcast some time ago on Anchor.
Great.
And, thank you. I'm a rookie, unlike Tiffany. She's been doing it for a long time. But my purpose and aim is to help other people, to share their messages with others who may be suffering. And is Anchor, in your opinion, is Anchor a good place to start, or should a person consider Zoom or what other decent platforms that are out there?
Yeah, I think if Anchor's working well for you, then that's an excellent place to start. As you grow, there's lots of different distributors and platforms to try. I've tried in terms of recording, I've used Zoom, I've used Google Meet, I've used Zencaster, lots of different things. So it's really testing out what works well for you. And then when you get into distribution networks, there's lots of choices there. If you need really strong analytics, there's, certain platforms. If you have more money to spend, there's certain platforms. So it's just doing the research. You can Google all of these things to find out what people are suggesting. And then I like to do trials, try something for a week or 14 days and get a sense of, does it meet your needs?
Yes.
Right.
And there's other things also that can help out, like Spreaker, where you can download your RSS feed and it kind of puts it all out there for you. And it's not too expensive. This Restream platform is not that expensive rather than just Zoom, and it reaches more, like LinkedIn Live, which you have to apply for.
Right.
It's not easy to get on LinkedIn Live, but honored to be there. And also having some things like, constant contact, and it sends out, which if you mentioned that you got a referral from Tiffany Warner, you get a discount as well. And I bet you right now they're having a Black Friday special.
I'm sure they are. Yeah. And there's many great platforms. Rob Greenleaf from Libsyn is on the board of the Podcast Academy. I definitely use Libsyn for one of my podcasts. So, again, it's just trial for what works for you and what you need. There's so many great tools out there. I think the pandemic has helped us all discover technologies that work well.
Right. And the other issue for me is finding the time,
Yes.
and be disciplined with that time.
That's the hardest thing. That really is. I was doing some work on myself last week and my mental health during the sort of downtime, and a friend reminded me that just having like a little practice to do something for yourself each day is really helpful. And I find what I'm doing, I'll be honest, I'm taking 5 minutes out of my day to do a dance every day to a song, and it just re-energizes me and really puts me back on the path to be able to keep going on all the work and to refocus. So
you're lucky we're on radio, or I'd be like, show us, do it. We are virtual, but I'm not going to make you do it.
That's awesome. But one of the things I love about Tiffany's show is that not only is it live radio, but it's also, she's on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, etc. Because let's face the facts, a lot of people would rather watch a podcast than just solely listen to it.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know, what's more appealing to me. I guess I can do either. You know, I can listen to someone as I'm driving or watch them. But I think the most important thing is, and as long as I don't lose focus on this, is what's the idea? What's the big idea? Why are you doing what you're doing? And if I ever lose that focus, then there's no point in doing it anymore. You know, and I think some people just the last several years have kind of gotten off track, and their focus has changed, and it's all about them instead of impacting those around them. And you know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I totally hear you on that. And, you know, we are all connected in so many ways. And I think being in these lockdown situations has made us realize where those points of connection and disconnection are. And, you know, you got to hold on to the great connections that you have
Yes.
and really work those.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Oh,
you have another question?
No, where can I find you? Are you on LinkedIn or?
I'm gonna share all that. Just keep in touch. But yes, she's on the Podcast Academy.
Yep,
Twitter,
and I'm on LinkedIn
Podcast
as well.
Academy.
Okay.
On Instagram at the Ambies, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Her stories of impact _ for Twitter, and I've got more, but I'll leave you guys with everything on how to find Michele. I promise.
Yeah, I'm not too hard to find on LinkedIn.
Okay, and Tiffany, congratulations on your 600th
Don't
episode.
congratulate me yet. It's on New Year's Eve, so let's have a party. We got to figure out how to celebrate and blow the party up and have a of cake and I don't know, maybe like multiple guests.
Okay.
We're gonna have a fun show that day. I mean, that's a lot of time away from my family, and that I've been doing this so much, and then I go to look at and Apple or Google or whatever, and it counts the episodes, and I'm like, like I'm like less than 20 away, like less than, I don't know. Anyway, so and plus from what Joe was saying, also not everyone has YouTube. Not everyone has Apple. Not everyone has Amazon Music. Not everyone has iTunes. Not everyone has iHeartRadio or Spreaker or you name it. So having on a larger, it spreads the word that where people can hear education and tips on mental health or learning about mental health, ending the stigma on mental health, and it's not just one place.
Ding, ding.
All right, Joe. Thank you so much for calling in. And
okay, bye, guys.
We answered.
Bye.
So there's a chat here, and he would probably call in, but he's from the UK, and it's a friend of mine, Andy Hall from Facebook, and he said, "Hey Tiffany, long time no speak, all the way from England. Michele, I co-host a podcast, Talking Cod. We love it. We have great feedback. How do you suggest attracting the right sponsors to fit with the show and audience?"
So I love attracting sponsors. That's a lot of fun. The podcast that I work on, Stories of Impact, is actually funded by a foundation. So we don't have sponsors. But for the Podcast Academy and other work I do in audiobooks, I am constantly looking for sponsors. And I work on a podcast called Behind the Mic, which I do all the sponsorship sales there. So the first thing that you have to have is a full understanding of your numbers. You know, what are your download numbers? What is your social footprint? All the things that would make someone want to come to your audience, and then understand your audience. You know, is it more men? Is it more women? What age range they are? So kind of create a one sheet about your audience and your show, and then start looking for sponsors that would fit within that. Now, I'm going to guess that Talking Cod might be about fish. Maybe not.
Say, is that a typo? But I didn't want to even go there, but it must be.
Well, let's just say it is about fish.
Okay.
And so then, you know, potential sponsors could be people who, companies that sell fishing line or, poles, or companies that do vacations for people that want to go fish somewhere. So try to find the companies that would make sense to fit your audience and approach them and network the heck out of it. Because if if you're really into fishing and you know someone that works at a company that makes fishing line, right? See if you can talk to them to get them to your marketing department, to their marketing department, and, connect with them and say, hey, I've got the show, we're doing something about your fishing line. Hey, would you be interested in sponsoring? It's a lot of networking.
Yeah. So it's like that, but you can think outside the box too. So moments of clarity, I've been hitting up eyeglass places, lens crafters, things like that. Moments of clarity,
Got it. Yeah.
Like one of my close friends, best friends, was a general manager of Arby's. She's like, I'm glad to be helping you. And it's like, no, but I appreciate it. But moments of clarity will be back after this. And then you hear Arby's, we have the meats. It doesn't make sense. So I'm selective on who I want to represent, but residential treatment centers, people, however, it also, your reach, it doesn't have to be all fishing. It could be places like Costco, or I don't know what they have out in the UK that sell those kind of things as well, fishing gear.
Yeah. And depending on what platform you're on, the platforms sometimes sell advertising. One of the podcasts I work on is with Megaphone, and, they're constantly contacting and saying, hey, we've got this ad for something about books, your podcast about audiobooks. So would you be willing to read the ad?
I don't know if McDonald goes as cod or chips on YouTube. Thanks for watching, Donald. Anyway, thanks for the comment, Andy and Donald McDonald on YouTube. Thanks for the content and resources. I'm just getting started, but I'm having so much fun.
Awesome.
Back with Andy Hall on Facebook. Talking Cod is three guys talking about random challenges life throws at us, nothing to do with fish. I figured.
Well, there you go. So then you've got a range of possibilities. What challenge are you doing?
It had to have been a British thing, Cod. I figured that knowing Andy, he wouldn't have a show all about fish. He's a triathlon.
Well, there you go. So, you've got, if you're talking about challenges, it could be a physical challenge. It could be a technical challenge. Yeah. So you could say, I'm having this technical challenge, and find some company that deals with that type of technical challenge, and you could solve your problem and also potentially get a sponsor.
And we get, we're all over the place. Hello from Alaska, Facebook user. It doesn't really say who is there.
Alaska, one of my favorite places to visit, I have to say. It was the last of the 50 states for me. And I went and stayed near a friend and really got sucked into her life. So, we ate fish that she caught, and moose and deer, no salmon. And it was so great. I brought my family back the next year, and I've been a few times. So it's been fantastic.
Good morning, Tiffany, Michelle, watching from Seattle. So we got Seattle, we got India, we've got the UK, we've got...
We're fully global here today.
I know Shelley's in North Carolina.
Well, I will say, for all you podcasters watching right now, tomorrow is the submission deadline for the AMBs. So if you want to get some potential recognition, today's the day to
Yes, we're going to go into that next. I'm going to get into that next. It's time for our second break. And we'll be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment. So please stay tuned.
We will return to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner after these messages.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
If you are like most people, you worry with the financial challenges you face today. How do you protect your family from financial ruin? How will you reduce your liabilities and get out of debt sooner? And how can you deal effectively with the constant changes in your job, your career, and your business? Overcoming your financial challenges is like building a house. You must build from the ground up. You must learn how to make more money, save more money, grow your money, and protect your money. Forever Forward Financial specializes in teaching you these 4 basic money skills so you can achieve your dreams and end your worry. Call us today and schedule your complimentary no-obligation meeting to discuss your needs and concerns. Call Scott Bigley at 727-422-7761.
Are you having trouble staying sober after you've completed rehab and need a positive environment to help you continue sobriety? At Real Recovery Sober Living, we strive in both community and environment for men in early sobriety to help support you while in early recovery. For only $750 a month, we cover everything you need when it comes to a safe, clean, and accountable environment necessary for success in sobriety. Check out our website at realrecoveryfl.com. That's realrecoveryfl.com. We have 6 locations in Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Brandon, North Tampa, and Bradenton, because everyone deserves a quality, sober living.
Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Warner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one. Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. I'd like to give a shout out to musician-songwriter Don Lawson, who wrote, produced, and performed all the vocals and instruments on my Moments of Clarity theme song. Don gained his inspiration as a mental health counselor himself. He's always looking for artists to record his songs, and you can hear more of Don's music at reverbnation.com/Don Lawson. You can also check him out on Twitter at Don Lawson Music. Thank you so much, Don, for your contribution to Moments of Clarity and ending the stigma on mental health. It's awesome.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Now back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner, licensed mental health counselor. To engage in the conversation, call 866-826-1340. Here's Tiffany.
Hello, and welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner. I am a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today with me is the founder, executive director of the Podcast Academy, who helps so many people learn about what to do if you have a podcast. And I myself am a proud member of the Podcast Academy. Can't lie. I couldn't decide which way to play. I have both. And welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany and Michele Cobb.
Hi, thanks. Glad to be here.
So the Ambies, look at you looking all beautiful. It's an award that the Podcast Academy puts out, and let's talk about that. How many people usually audition or apply? And
so last year was our first year, and we had over 1,000 entries, which is very exciting. And tomorrow is the deadline for the 2022 Ambies. So I'll be interested to see how many submissions we get. Now's the time in between things. Every question is, like, oh, what should I put in this box? What should I do? So we are trying to answer those questions as quickly as possible to get everyone taken care of.
Well, in your defense, you actually hosted a Zoom meeting to answer questions.
It's true, yes. So anyone who's
shown up, if they were really on top of it, rather than hounding you with emails. And
well, it's part of my job to be hounded with emails. That's okay. But we do have a recording so that you can get walked through the system, and anyone who's a member can access that. Actually, it's live on our YouTube. Anyone can access that. So,
and even though it's the deadline, you can still submit entries until a certain date. You just have to pay more.
That's correct. The price goes up $50 at midnight to the 4th of December, which is technically midnight Saturday, I guess.
You mean the third? The third.
So it ends tomorrow, but it'll be like 11:59, and then it'll switch over to costing you more.
Fourth on the 4th a.m. So
Exactly. Yes.
midnight on the 3rd.
Yes. It's really midnight the 4th. I mean, it's 11:59 the 3rd, midnight the 4th. There, it goes up.
Okay.
So you have one whole more day, all of today and most of tomorrow as well. So 2 days, basically.
I've entered Moments of Clarity with Tiffany in 2 different categories. I'm not sure if we picked the right one, but 2 different categories. We're going to do 3. It's hard after 600 shows to pick which one you want to enter.
It's true. You want it to be your best. And we're very excited to be partnering with the Podcasting Seriously Fund, so people can submit and then actually ask for reimbursement from that fund. And I'm excited
for that.
Yeah, and I'm excited for next year. We're going to have some sponsorships. If you are a podcaster and you have not yet joined the Podcast Academy, I do have some memberships to give away from our friends at Audible and Spotify. And all you have to do is send me an email. It's Michele@thepodcastacademy.com. And I can tell you my name is spelled only with one L. So that's the first thing. Can you figure out how it is? Michele@thepodcastacademy.com.
Michele.
Exactly.
It took me a second to find you on.
There you go.
And I was trying to connect with you on the Podcast Academy. It's kind of like you have to kind of just fool around in there and trying to find connections and connect with everyone. But the events and everything, and I like how you have rooms and then you break us up into like little 3 things for like.
Yes, we have lunch and learns, and in January we're going to have like a nighttime nosh. I can't remember exactly what it's called. So it's where we come together. So Tiffany's actually going to be joining us next Tuesday, and she'll talk for about 5 minutes about mental health and podcasting, and then we'll network, because what's beautiful about the Zoom rooms is you can be anywhere. So just like people are here from Seattle and Alaska and India and the UK, same thing in our Zoom rooms. People can come together, talk to someone from a different walk of life of podcasting, from a different part of the world, and really connect.
And if you guys, it's public, so you can, I'll just probably advertise it, but if you want to join that, I'm only speaking for like 5 minutes, right, Michele?
Yeah, so you'll be talking at the beginning. People can ask you questions. You can give some guidance, and then you'll be able to talk to people more fully in the rooms. So yeah,
it was pretty funny because I was looking at the Ambies on how to enter your thing, your Lunch and Learn, and I saw below it. I'm like, wait, I'm speaking, but I do remember that you asking me to just be a part of it, whatever. But there's this whole thing, Tiffany Warner, this licensed mental health counselor. And I'm like, oh, nice to know. I blocked off an hour. I ran across it by accident, but it was on my calendar to enter your room, but I didn't realize I was speaking. But anyway, so Michele with 1H or 1L.
1L, yeah.
Michele at thepodcastacademy.com, and you can apply to get a free sponsorship, or not free, a free membership, a sponsored membership to join the Podcast Academy, because it's pretty much $175 unless you're going, or it's $175, and then you get 75 off of each submission of the Ambies if you're a member.
Yeah, and there's 2 types of submissions. There's show recognition, so like it's your genre. Are you a science podcast, or are you an entertainment podcast? And then we have the talent recognition. So you're, who's the best host, who's writing well. So there's, I think it's, I want to say 25 categories. I may have lost count on that, but lots of opportunity.
Best
and
kid one.
Oh yeah. Oh, and we just added indie podcasts. Yeah. So for anyone who's on a small team that doesn't have guaranteed funding, so you can have sponsors, but you're not like your whole life of podcasting isn't paid for by a big company like Spotify or Wondery.
Yeah, and having to choose which one, because it's
that's a challenge, isn't it? Pick with the one category or the 2 categories that you want to enter into.
Jason from India said, I agree. The Zoom meeting with Michele was very helpful. More people should have joined.
Well, that's why we, record these things, because what I've seen in the pandemic is at the beginning, we had lots of people coming, and now we're all spending so much time on Zoom and everyone's back to work, working very hard and out of the home a bit. So we have smaller in-person Zooms, but higher watching on the videos themselves.
Mm-hmm. And then it's on YouTube. And which YouTube is the channel? What's the channel for YouTube?
The Podcast Academy, I believe, or the Ambies. I can't remember, actually. I should look that up.
You didn't put it in your bio, so I could have promoted, but it's all over Instagram. I tagged you on Twitter as well. For this show will be live on Twitter, and I'll retag you as well, Michele.
Yeah, we're the Podcast Academy on YouTube. I work with so many different organizations, I can't remember every handle.
Which was the title of our show. How do you handle multitasking, before we close up?
Yeah, well,
you do dance.
I do some dancing for my mental health. But also I try to chunk things out. So, I have multiple clients. So at this hour, I'm going to work on this client. And for this hour, I'm going to work on this client. And I also rely on a team. I work with different people who support me. I spend a lot of time doing forward-facing things, talking on Zooms and whatnot, and having to prep for those. And so I get some admin work help, because I don't have time to send 500 of the same email. And for, certain things you can use technology for, and certain things you need to personalize on some level. So I, use people to support me and help me, and really just try to focus on whatever client I'm working on at that moment. And I'm very lucky. A lot of what I do is about conversing with people and about interacting with people. And as an extrovert, that's very nourishing to me. So it actually helps me to work for different organizations and interact with the most people possible, because I don't think I would have made it in the Zoom world without really being able to connect with people on a daily and hourly basis.
Right, and repetition gets old and things like that. I have that same problem, so I like to do a lot. Where some of my friends, you guys are out there, say I need to slow down or whatever, but I don't know. It's hard to slow down when you love what you're doing.
Exactly. My husband always says working is my hobby.
Yeah, or just it is, and even if it's a day off, they're like, "Mom, you had the day off work." I'm like, "I'm not really with a client right now, but got to work on the show as well." Anyway,
Exactly.
Michele, thank you so much. We're trying to wrap up a little bit. We have 5 minutes, and everyone, I highly recommend going to Michele, emailing her at michele@thepodcastacademy.com. There's her email. Get a membership, join the club, and be a part. It's really, actually, I've only been for a few months, and every room I've ever been in has been fun. It's networking with people I've never met before that do podcasts, that have great ideas, that we bounce stuff off each other. That it's just different, and it's nice and personal. And I
there's
recommend, and you can also just go to the podcastacademy.com and just sign up and enter the Ambies.
Totally. Yes. We're at ambies.com. And we do have some great resource guides if you're looking for help with marketing or, raising revenue. Part of your membership gives you access to the resource guides and access to a mentor, so you can meet people in that way.
Mm-hmm. Jason says, Michele, thanks for being a great guest on Moments of Clarity with Tiffany.
I guess I got to say Moments of Clarity again, right? So you'll ring the bell.
Yeah. It doesn't. I don't ring it when I say it, but yeah.
Right. So that's why I said it.
Michele, thank you so much for your time and for being everything that you're doing to help people that really want to have a voice and get themselves out there and spread knowledge and everything, but feel like they're alone doing it. And that's what those networking things, the meetings and lunch and learn, everything that I got out of it is that I don't get to interact with other podcasters or radio. It's everyone's kind of doing the same thing, but it's kind of like a treatment team meeting with a bunch of therapists. Where we all
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's really powerful, and I appreciate what you're doing. And
Thank you.
I'm so happy I found it, and that I'm a part of it now. So I tagged some of my podcaster friends to join in and hear this out so that you guys can be part of it too. Anyway, it's time to wrap up. Michele Cobb, find her at theambies.com or podcastacademy.com. And thank you so much for being on Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. And it's been amazing to know you and to get to hear other things that we could do to change the world together as one. Everyone, have a wonderful weekend or a wonderful Thursday. See you tomorrow. We are on every Thursday and Friday, 12 to 1. And please be kind to yourself and to a stranger. You never know what they're going through. Change can only come when we stand together as one. See you tomorrow.
Moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it. Moments of Don't put yourself down. Time for a change. Believe in yourself. Time to rearrange. Be your best friend. Bring hope to your day. Lose your critic. Get out of your way. Now it clicks. Moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, your soul will align. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear